All right, welcome everyone. Let's get right to it. For the next few minutes, think of this as your playbook for navigating the financial side of the EV transition. We're going to cut through the noise and focus on the numbers, the data that will really shape the future of your dealership.
So, this is really the question on everyone's mind, isn't it? Is this whole EV shift a threat that's going to chip away at your profits? Or is it the single biggest opportunity for growth that you've seen in a generation? By the time we're done here, you'll have a much clearer picture of how to answer that for your business.
Here's how we're going to break it down. We'll start with what's happening in the market. Then we'll get into the new language of car sales, total cost of ownership. We'll look at the challenges, the headwinds, and the massive savings opportunities, the tailwinds. Then we'll pivot to your service department before we wrap up with a clear, actionable roadmap.
Okay, first, the big picture. This EV transition, it's not some far-off concept anymore. It is happening right now, and it is moving fast. We're way past the niche market phase. This is a mainstream force that is fundamentally changing the game.
Let's put a number on it. 40 million. That's how many EVs were on the road across the globe by the end of 2023. But here's the real kicker. Almost 14 million of those were sold in that 1 year alone. This isn't just growth, this is serious acceleration. So with that kind of speed, the conversation on your showroom floor, it just has to change. We have to move past talking just about the sticker price and start talking about a much more powerful metric, the total cost of ownership, or TCO.
Honestly, getting your sales team to master TCO is probably the single most important thing you can do right now. It is how you change the conversation, how you frame the real value of an EV, and how you help your customers see the entire financial picture, not just that initial price tag.
And as you can see from this breakdown, based on analysis from Atlas Public Policy, TCO is the whole shebang. It's the purchase price, yeah, but it's also resale value, fuel, maintenance, insurance, all of it. This is the new battlefield where you're either winning or losing sales.
All right, let's be real for a minute and tackle the challenges head on. These are the headwinds. These are the costs that your customers see, the things that make them hesitate, and the objections your sales team has to be ready for. You've all seen headlines like this, right? This one's from AAA. These reports get a ton of attention, and they often point out that, hey, even with lower running costs, the higher overall ownership cost can be a barrier. This is probably the number one objection you have to get in front of. And a huge, huge piece of that higher cost comes from depreciation. Right now, this is the single biggest thing hurting an EV's TCO. You're looking at a 50 to 70% drop in value over 5 years. That's a lot more than a typical gas car, and it's a major factor in the total cost.
And depreciation isn't the only headwind. The second big one is insurance. On average, your customers are looking at a premium that's about 15 to 20% higher for an EV. Why? Well, it's mostly because of the high cost and specialized labor needed to repair a battery after an accident. It's a real cost that has to be part of the conversation.
But, and this is a big but, once you've acknowledged those headwinds, this is where you can completely flip the script. This is where you focus on the powerful, long-term savings that make EVs a fantastic financial choice. These are the tailwinds.
First off, the fuel savings are they're staggering. An average driver doing 15,000 miles a year will spend around $675 to charge at home. Compare that to over $2,000 for gas. That is over $1,500 back in their pocket every single year.
And the savings just keep coming in the service bay. Data from Argonne National Lab is crystal clear on this. Maintenance costs are nearly 40% lower for EVs. I mean, it makes sense, right? No oil changes, no spark plugs, fewer moving parts. It works out to about 6 cents a mile versus 10 cents for a gas car.
So let's make this really concrete. Let's look at a real-world example from Atlas Public Policy. They did a head-to-head comparison. The new Chevy Equinox EV versus its gas-powered twin over a 7-year ownership period. And here it is, the bottom line. When you run all the numbers, the purchase price, the incentives, the fuel, the maintenance, all of it, the EV owner saves almost $9,500. That's over $1,350 a year. This is the TCO story in action, and it is by far your most powerful sales tool. Okay, let's shift gears and talk about your service department. We all know fixed ops is the profit engine for most dealerships. And believe me, the EV transition is the biggest shakeup to that business model in decades.
McKinsey hits the nail on the head here. They're pointing out the core challenge, fewer routine jobs like oil changes and filter swaps. And yeah, that feels like a headwind for the service shop. You can't just ignore it.
But the solution isn't to fight it, it's to pivot.
You have to shift your thinking from a high-volume, low-margin model to a high-value, specialized model. The profit isn't in oil changes anymore, it's in complex battery diagnostics, software updates, and the kind of specialized repairs that only a certified dealer technician can do.
And get this, here's the hidden gem in all this. A staggering 2/3 of EV owners, 67%, are bringing their cars to the dealership for service. That is a way higher capture rate than for gas cars. And why? It's trust. They trust you with these complex machines, and that's a massive advantage.
So, let's bring it all home. What can you do right now to make sure you're not just surviving this change, but actually leading it? It really boils down to 3 key actions.
First, you have to get the right inventory. Expand your range of EVs to meet this growing demand. Second, install charging infrastructure. This isn't just a nice to have anymore, it's essential for sales and service. And third, and this is the most important one, educate your people. Your entire team, from sales to service, needs to be the absolute expert on TCO, on incentives, on the technology. That's how you win.
Look, this transition is happening. That's a fact. But if you master the data, you train your team, and you adapt your strategy, you can turn what looks like a disruption into what could be the most significant period of growth your dealership has ever seen.